Week 2 of early voting is underway in Virginia's high-stakes governor's race, and also up for grabs is one race that could split the ticket this November. Attorney General. Republican incumbent Jason Miyares is trailing slightly in polls behind former delegate Jay Jones. The winner will oversee criminal investigations, including defending convictions on appeal. And this person would also help protect your money by enforcing state consumer and business protection laws, and so much more. This week, 7 News is highlighting the nominees' positions on various topics that are of high interest to voters. 7 News' sister station in Lynchburg sat down with the nominees, and here are their positions on the Commonwealth's gun laws.
When it comes to gun control, obviously Democrats and Republicans don't see eye to eye on many things, but there's probably ways to form consensus. Do you favor any new gun control laws?
Well, I'm proud of my record from the General Assembly protecting communities and voting for common sense gun safety policies, one gun a month, red flag laws that have really had a tremendous impact on our communities. As an assistant attorney general, I sued the largest ghost gun manufacturer in the country, and we put them out of business. So this is something that I'm very, very familiar with. And again, this is a big part of our public safety plan, is to get these illegal guns off the streets. And in contrast with my opponent, who really doesn't seem to have any care about all of these weapons flooding our communities, we want to make sure that people are safe and protected. This is an issue we hear about all across the Commonwealth, and that's why it's a priority for us.
Well, let's talk specific about the red flag laws. I mean, what would you like to see changed or adjusted or amended in that regard?
I think the red flag laws passed is great. It's got to be enforced and used by localities and law enforcement officials at the local level. And I think when you've seen it in practice, it actually has had a lot of success. And so we'll work with state and local law enforcement officials, including the local Commonwealth attorneys, to make sure that the laws that are on the books are being enforced and used to protect our communities, to keep us safe. And again, it's all about using all of the tools in the toolbox and using the resources in front of us. And I'm excited to do that and work with folks all across Virginia to make sure that our communities are protected.
Anything specific, triggers, anything like that from the manufacturers that you think needs to be changed as far as the law is concerned?
Well, when the General Assembly comes back in January, they might address some of these issues, and I think we've got some really great stuff on the books for us to use. Again, as an Assistant Attorney General, we really took out the largest ghost gun manufacturer in the country. You will see that a lot of crimes are being committed with these untraceable and unserialized weapons. We've got to lean in, and we've got to make sure that we're getting those out of our communities. Big part of our public safety plan. And again, looking forward to actually doing the job and keeping our communities safe, not just talking about it like the current Attorney General does.
Okay, that was Democratic nominee Jay Jones. Now here is Republican incumbent Jason Miyares.
Do you favor any new gun control laws?
What I favor are the policies that work. And the policies that work are going after repeat violent offenders that are using guns in the commission of a felony. That's what our office has done. Very different than my opponent, who has voted consistently against enhanced mandatory minimums. I'm a big believer, I'm a numbers-driven guy. The policies that have actually lowered gun violence are the policies that go after repeat violent offenders, indict them, prosecute them, get them off the street.
Joining me now is Dr. Kara Ong-Whaley, Executive Director of Better Choices for Democracy, and she currently teaches in the Department of Politics at the University of Virginia, and political science professor Gary Nordlinger from George Washington University in studio with me. Gary, how have recent high-profile shootings in Virginia, for example, Virginia Beach, UVA, Chesapeake, Walmart, we saw there, influenced public opinion on gun laws, and which candidate's stance do you think really kind of aligns with where they stand in the state?
You know, it's going to totally be who you are in the state. Let's face it, going back to the 1960s, Democrats have consistently been in favor of gun control. And Republicans have increasingly become the defenders of what they will call the Second Amendment rights. So, you know, if you're a gun lover, you're going to vote Republican. I think you would have voted Republican to begin with. Again, I was not surprised, but all 3 of the Democratic statewide candidates have gun control on their websites.
Kara, Miyares appeals to that kind of data and enforcement outcomes argument, while Jones is emphasizing legislative action and lawsuits against manufacturers. Which narrative do you think carries a little more credibility with suburban voters, for example, who say they're so concerned about safety?
I think what we've seen in terms of positioning that lands particularly with swing voters, which is really what's going to matter in this because their positions are clear for the parties. But what we see matters for swing voters is messaging along the lines of keeping guns from dangerous people, emphasizing that safety framing. And I think along these lines, both have made really important arguments. Miyares is, of course, emphasizing the prosecutions and his victim first posture. While Jones has highlighted some of the work that he has also done in the past, particularly on ghost guns and trafficking.
So would both of you argue that these candidates are sticking to what their national party agenda is on this issue, and they're not going to waver regardless of what we see out there?
Listen, I think they both sincerely believe their side of the issues. Now, their side of the issues align with the national parties. So what a surprise that one's a Democratic nominee and one's a Republican nominee.
Kara?
I think that's absolutely right. I would note that we do see, particularly in Jones, the emphasis on protecting communities, but also not going too far in terms of the kinds of sweeping bans that would resonate in other locales, in other states.
Yeah, and I think you're right. A lot of this may be predictable on this particular issue, but there's always room for nuance there. All right, thank you both. Now, early voting in Virginia's November election is underway, and to learn more about where the nominees stand on these issues for that Attorney General spot, just visit WJLA.com or scan that QR code that's on your screen. And tomorrow at 5 o'clock, our panel is going to break down the candidates' plans to address drug addiction deaths in the Commonwealth.